Hello, YouTube. Welcome to episode 2 of me just getting better in OP14 and showing how I get better. Um, Again, this is not a daily in series or anything. It's just I'm recording my games that I play, at least more than I was, and I will upload videos when I play games that have learnable moments. This is the list I played in these. It's the one I'm still playing for now. I don't know. Just trying different triggers. Be more Luxacky. Think I probably should go back to a second pudding. Might just cut the zero cost. I don't know. We're just messing around with stuff right now. Um, but yeah, we got a total of 3 games today. Uh, and this one we can. Also, sorry for the thing. I tried the hotkeys thing for the bar popping up. I tried the hotkeys and it doesn't really. The bar goes up as soon as I touch my keyboard and move my mouse. So unless there's any other suggestions on how to not make this happen, uh, yeah, it's just there. I personally don't think it's a big deal, but I understand it may annoy some people. But we can just hop into this one. This one it wasn't. This was just kind of like a. Honestly, all of these are just like in here, just small moments again. Can increase to 1.5. I think I haven't had any problems with this matchup. I think it's been kind of not a big deal. You just take because it snowballs if we hit a life. Count the second one because you don't want to take too greedily. And this is one of the moments though. I think it is okay, but something that I didn't consider at the time was if you just raw swing into this like that. Like I get to save these swings to actually hit him, but it does let him not use either effect, so he's ramping. So I don't know how relevant that is right now. I don't know if I should just make sure there's like I don't know if him ramping is a very big detriment or not. Because I think I just get one more card out of hand in order for him to ramp a Don. I'm not sure if that's worth it when I think about it. I should maybe just go 5/5 and make him use leader. But I'm not sure either way. So, and then also I had a comment in the last video asking they don't know when they should play Ran, or Boa for the Kuma stack or Constant Dawn. I think this is another case. Obviously, I didn't have Boa here, so I just played Ran. I think this is another case though, where even if I had Boa, it might be correct to just play Ran, just because I hit a trigger body out of my first life. So if I want to keep swinging my body every turn while having a Dawn on leader, I should just play the Ran on 4 if I hit a first trigger body. I think, and just accept that Kuma might not hit a trigger, and it's not the end of the world. That might not be correct, but I think that's what I'm gonna do for a little bit at the very least. If I hit a trigger body, we'll just go with Ran over Boa in a lot of matchups. But yeah, that way I just don't feel pressured to not swing my board, and I can keep getting cards out of his hand. Um, then there's just nothing really. Yada yada, swing, swing, swing. Monet, 8, we will again just take, or 7, whatever. We're getting really lucky, hitting a bunch of bodies. 5. This is a bunch of 5s. I swing 5 again here, and then I actually play Kuma before the last 5, just because I remembered Hell's Judgment is a card, and I didn't want to get hard punished by that. Um, which obviously means I should just start with Kuma. I don't know if this deck plays that card or not, so once I know the list more, I'll know whether I should play around that, or if I should have just swung 5 first, but it's not a big deal either way. Um, and I don't really want to let this go for one card, because it is giving me a Dawn on my leader every turn. 6, again, trying to stay healthy. Our board's basically full anyway. We don't need trigger bodies. Our plan here is the Gravity Blade every time. So maybe we could have taken, because then we'd actually have a full board. But think that's just greedy. Then here, swinging with your least important body, as we'll see, is better. Because now this is sideways. He's a 7k for the turn, so these aren't going to turn sideways. So not putting my Rin sideways first, uh, good, important. So with the 7, if he wants to minus a Don to not give a card, that's fine. We have no counter in hand, obviously, but happy to let that die anyway. Just keep gaining life. Another guy, he takes a life. It's very like I don't know what he's supposed to do in this spot. We swing the Sengoku there, that's fine. And then here, as I said last turn, I should be swinging. Well, I'm gonna start with Boa, right? Because we're gonna rip his life. But then I should be swinging a Shaku first. Whenever he eventually lets this die. Because I don't remember how that event works exactly, but I think it's just 2 Dawn. I could just look it up quick, actually. If the sim wants to load. Bullet string. Dawn -1. Yeah, so it's just 4k and 2k of it is permanent for -1 Dawn. Pretty good, honestly. Um, but because he could just do that here again, I should definitely swing the Shaku first. That way my Dawn Giver is still standing. Um, or in he doesn't do that, but that's just should be the case. And then here he's at 9 Dawn and he still has leader effect. So there's no point in swinging this final body. So kind of same thing. I could have left this standing and had this sideways instead. Just minor things to think about. Oh, also I forgot to say these games are recorded not high elo yet. I'm not high bounties, but I'm like a little. I was a little bit under 1 billion here, so definitely higher than the last video, getting against better opponents for sure. And then we had 1k. We maybe could have and should have just given a 1k there, but it's he's basically dead. We're just playing greedy for triggers. Hit another one. We hit 3 or 4 trigger bodies this turn game. I think just 3. Well, 3 stacked. I think we hit 2 that were stacked and one. We hit 3 and one of them was stacked. That's what I'm saying. I think. So we hit a good amount though. And yeah, we swing 10. We can't all in because his leader effect will, you know, basically nullify that. Go ahead and give the rest of Dawn because he's at 8 Dawn. So if he wants the lead effect to not give cards here, he doesn't go to 10 next turn. It's worth it. And we're never dead, obviously. And then he does just end up conceding here. Obviously, it's unwinnable. And then Ace. This matchup, I'm not too sure what I should be doing. I'm pretty sure you just want to get them to 0 and play for Femur. Use dice roll. I heard this is supposed to be a good matchup for Boa, but in the games that I've seen and played, I think I beat one in the last video. I don't think it was a good ace player though. It actually seems like somewhat annoying for Boa, in my experience so far. Um, but we'll see. It's still early. I still don't really know what I should be doing. I swing 8 because I have no body to play. We want them to take life, and we can threaten pudding. Again, I think I should go back to 2 pudding. Honestly, maybe just for this matchup, but yeah. Um, that's Jozu. That is basically their win con. It seems like we swing 6 and then play the Boa because swinging 7 doesn't do anything. If you only have one swing, 6 is just the same as 7 because of the leader effect. Especially if you're not a deck that can threaten rush. So swing 6, play Boa, and then stack triggers for Kuma. We do know he added so I do think here we know he's gonna Jozu next turn, right? He added Jozu, and it does it's starting to seem like the more I played this, like them bouncing our Boa is a very big win con for them. They need to bounce it like every turn. So he bounces here, and I stack this just to play Margaret and draw into the 9 cost to have on 9 Don. Um, but I think that's fine. All that's fine. Even the stack is actually, I mean, the stack is fine just because of what I think I should do instead. I end up just winning 6, play Kuma here. It seems just like the play, but the more I think about it, he's gonna get 2 big swings in next turn with 8 cost event. I'm gonna take the 2, so I'll be at 2 either way, but he will still be healthy. And my Kuma isn't really gonna threaten much when he has a 12k blocker on board, and my trigger is not gonna threaten much. And so I think the correct play here is to just swing 8 and replay the Boa, and make him and block with it, and make him take a life if he wants to swing and play that early. I think I should just forgo Kuma here. I end up if he swings, I'll be at 2 life either way, but he'll be at 1 less, and then I could 9 cost put him to 0, right? So I think that would have just been better. Also because yeah, we take, we hit that trigger, and then we did end up hitting a second trigger. I'm just kind of skipping because it's not a big deal here. Um, like we're obviously just taking these, and we hit trigger. Show we trashed 7 cost and a 9 cost. So if we want a 9 cost next turn, we should probably trash the 4 cost Bow instead and play back to back 9 cost. But I don't think we have time for that. So I end up trashing a 9 cost because I look at this board state and I have 3 5Ks that aren't doing anything this turn if I play Boa. Um, as well as if he red rocks the Boa, I could just take the 0. Well, not even 0, but like I could just be in like a world of hurt if he red rocks the Boa. Maybe I should be okay with that. I'm not too sure. But that was my thinking at the time. Um, we start. I think we just start 7. I don't even know. But basically, I decided to replay the Boa here and attach a bunch of Dawn to actually get cards out of his hand. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's a fine play. I think the big thing here though, is I should have replayed the Boa last turn over Kuma. And then if anything, I could just play the Kuma this turn, right? If I really wanted to gain a life, I'll like keeping Dawn up or something. Um, so we go 6. And then I'm doing the math. I want to keep a Dawn open for the event here, which means I have 4 Dawn to attach, which means there's another 6, and then there's a 7 and an 8. Now, maybe I'm again. These are spots where I'm not actually sure. I need to play more games in situations like this to figure out how it would have went the other way. But maybe I just shouldn't float the Dawn here. Because he gave me a 2k anyway, I decided to just hit the Jozu. I don't think that's correct either, to be fair. Um, but I think we end up getting his leader effect here, which makes it like irrelevant. And then we just pass with 4 open because I thought about playing Margaret. I think I decided against it for some reason. I don't even remember. What was my Boa stack? Was that why? That's probably why I didn't want to play Margaret. Yep. So, okay. My Boa stack is I'm gonna play trigger Boa to play a Gorgon Sisters, and if and then just draw 2K. So that's why I decided not to play the Margaret there. So I just end up passing with 4 Don open. It's like kind of awkward. Maybe I should just go 8/8 at life and tap out and not be that scared of him deciding to put me to 0. That's probably the correct play, I think, but I'm not positive on that. But I think that's what I should have done. I just don't need to keep that open, maybe. Um, but he goes Yamato, and then I assume he maybe got lucky and drew into Atmos or drew into the Whitebeard targets that he needed for Atmos. Goes 7. We stop that from attacking again. Maybe we want him to put it sideways, but yeah. And then here I decide if I go to 2 next turn, I don't feel that comfortable, even with this big of a hand, especially if putting's a card. So I just counter. I think this is fine. Stay at 2, go to 1. We just start 7, see what he does. Then once he gets his card, I think that is the time. We just play Boa and pass. I think this is all correct. I don't think there's anything else to really even think about here. You have to keep the Don open. Seven, just stick with the plan, play Gorgon Sisters so we can actually threaten lethal next turn. So he does this, and now this tells me he's just not committing, right? He could very much well kill me here. I think a lot good percentage of the time, but he could also lose the triggers sometimes. So I decide not to. We're dead here if he swings 12 first, and we don't get anything to help us off of life. Um, but I just made the call that he's not going for it. So I just take. I don't trigger the femur because I think that's just part of our win con for killing him next turn. He swings 8. Obviously now we have to use the event on this because if we don't get a insane trigger, he's just gonna go for it at that point. 5. Give the beige. Keep the pudding as a option as well as 3 Kuja Pirates targets for Gorgon Sisters. So we have to go for lethal, obviously. Now I think there's a lot of ways you could do this math. If I don't have femur in hand, I am playing pudding for 1 card every time because it's just free, right? But I start 10 because our board's 4 anyway, so we kind of want to start with the swing. Um, so I start 10. If he ever messes up and takes, dope. If he gives us a lot of cards, dope. I think it's correct to just block, and he does. So, but I think you gotta skill check your opponents a lot in One Piece. The more opportunities you give them to mess up, the higher chance they will. Better chance for you to win. Um, Here when I look back at it, if I didn't have femur, I'd play this pudding 100%. But because I have femur, pudding doesn't feel 100% free, right? It feels like a potential waste of 2 Don. But if I femur's never doing anything here if he plays it properly. Um, so playing femur instead of pudding almost wastes 2 Don as well. If and if I'm trying to think of how to put that into words because like we have 5 rested Don we could give right now. We could pudding and femur, and we're only wasting 1 Don for femur, which is technically +1 power. It's not bad, but we could also just play the I don't think there's a world where you could just play the pudding. Sorry, part of this is like in the moment, just trying to think about what's correct. Because I think the math here for going for lethal is very, very awkward. And I think the way I did it was definitely wrong. Um, we can quickly play it through, see how I did it. I swung 8 with Kuma. 8 with Kuma just on the chance maybe he'll block again, or maybe he'll take and mess up again. Um, I think playing pudding to get -1 card out of its hand is just worth it. But we don't. We swing 8, get leader effect right away, which is good. Swing another 8 because we're kind of committed at this point. Kind of committed to not doing pudding, which means we're doing femur, which means we're only attaching 2 rested on, right? So might as well save the femur until he potentially messes up by taking. I think he ends up giving. He might just block here actually. He blocks. So we go 8, kind of just representing another 8. It's better than that obviously, since we have the femur. Um, but he just has to counter a 6-9 here. Not that hard really. But at this point, we've obviously committed. So I think this lethal line was just bad. I think just playing the pudding. I think starting 10 is fine. And then we should just play over the bow at that point, play pudding, and we get a lot more Dawn and a card out of his hand before we even get the Dawn. So I think that would have just been better. Yeah, I'm gonna say putting more free Dawns better when they have multiple blockers like that. I'm just kind of hoping he messes up when I'm only relying on femur. We get the rematch, lose dice roll again. Unfortunate. I end up keeping this because we have Margaret and Ran, which lets me not swing 8 on this turn, but swing 2 6s on the next, which gets cards out of hand. I think the keep is fine. I do think maybe getting 2 cards out of hand is not something that I care about. When I think that getting their life is more important. Um, Again, the swings are going to get bigger. I don't think it's smart to play too greedy for triggers. So I think it's correct to just 2k out. We get to swing 2 6s here at least. We have to play Boa stack for Kuma. This is another situation where maybe Ran, in according to the guy's comment, where maybe they don't know when to play Ran or Boa. I think there's an argument to play Ran here just to get the constant Dawn since he's a 6k leader. But I think playing the like blocking with Boa and ripping life from Ace, I think is kind of like a big win con. Hence why he ends up bouncing it, and I think this time it's okay for me to not just play Boa and Jam because one, we're stacking their Gorgon sisters, which is really good, and two, he keeps his Marco standing. Um, so I think in this case, this play is fine. Just because it's a Gorgon sister specifically, such a good card to have on the field, as well as him having a blocker. He blocks anyway. At this point, once he blocks that, though, to be fair, I think there's a strong argument to just play Bow and swing 8. I think starting with 6 is fine. Strong argument to play Bow and swing 8 once he blocks that. But again, I hadn't thought about all that before I started rewatching these games. He misses the 8 cost, which is huge for us. And he plays another Jozu, which is like, again, I guess it's kind of worked out for us that we didn't that we did the Kuma line. Take 7/7, hit the stack trigger, don't hit the other one. We don't have 9 costs. I think if we have 9 costs here, it's really good tempo actually, because we have Gorgon to kill, still swing 6/6/8, rip a life. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I decide to just gain another life and trash the Boa. Maybe I trash Ran, or do I trash Boa? I trash Boa. I mean, I think that that's all fine. Just trying to stay healthy and buy time, mainly because we don't want to drag it out, but we do need. I don't say need, but we would like a 9 cost Boa on the board for femur threats. Um, Hence why I decided to float the Thudon for that and just go 6/6/8. Add the Boa for next turn. So he has no blocker here, but he's an 8K, so that's annoying. We can at least take the first one. Definitely don't want to take the second one, and then we're taking the third one, right? He's shown he's just never going to swing at my board. If it's a Gorgon Sisters that he's not swinging at, he just isn't swinging at it in general, right? He doesn't care. And I think that's correct. I think he does not want me to put him to 0. Because then I have putting femur threats, and it's just not fun for him. We have to show the femur, but it's definitely worth it because we need to get cards out of hand for sure. So he's an 8K. I think there might be an argument to hit his Josus here just because they're smaller. But I was going off the principle that I need to put him to 0. But obviously he's never taking to 0. It's just like if he does let the Josus die, he's drawing even more. And I don't think it really changes my clock. Like I think he still kills me in the same amount of turns. That was my thinking with it, at least. And then here, I decided if I should float one for a card I don't have, just in case I draw it, or just to scare him. But I decided I need all the cards out of hand, so I had to go another 7, and we got maximum two. We got 2Ks from all those swings anyway. So we got leader and then 2 2Ks. So whether I hit the Josu's or his life, it wouldn't have made a difference there. He takes the 10K here, so he takes the 0. Plays an Ezo, so he has no blockers, which is very, very weird. Finds a 2K. So here, I do think this one. Okay, no. So his swings after that, I have 2 life. He has 7, 8, 10 at like best, right, to try and kill me. Because he started 10. I think I definitely should have triggered this and played Ran over this. Because right, I chose not to because I wouldn't have. Because I'd need to counter the 7, and then I wouldn't have any cards in hand for Gorgon Sisters. But when I'm looking at this, I don't need Gorgon Sisters, right? As far as spreading Dawn wide, he's just a tall leader with no blockers. So I just need one big swing, as big a swing as I can get. So I should have just played Ran. I know I can live, and then take the gamble that I could find more Kuja pirates for Gorgon Sisters. That way I have more Dawn to attach. Um, Definitely should have just triggered that and played the Ran out. 7, we have to counter. 10, we take. Nothing. Draw into nothing. So, we wouldn't have had enough because we would have played the Ran and lost this one. And countered with this one. So we would have only had Boa and Femur in hand. We would have also drawn one deeper, but we'll see. That's actually a Gravity Blade on top, so again, it wouldn't have made a difference. But we should have played to that out. And then here, there's no thinking besides attaching all down to Boa and swinging at this. I considered if I should swing at Jozu's, but the correct choice is definitely not to, because if he's smart, which I think he is, he's proven to be a pretty decent player. He'll just let him die and draw a card, and then lethal's even harder, right? So not even gonna try to skill check and poke cards out of hand because it's very punishing. Then we attach all Dawn, swing 21. He needs 5 2Ks to counter this, so like it should be lethal. He searched a 2K off Ezo, so that's already, we know he has 1. And when he made this play before he had that Ezo, right? Before he played that Ezo and found a 2K. Then he leader effects a dead card and it has 5 2Ks. After Ezoing as well, like the cycle. So far I know he drew that 2K he needs off the cycle as well. Feels very, very unlucky that we lost this game. Uh, yeah, just actually insanely unlucky. Like, it happens though, happens. Still felt it was worth showing, mainly for that Ran trigger moment. I don't think there's many other things to do this game. I think I should have played I think I should have replayed the bow and swung 8 on 7 instead of stacking Gorgon Sisters. But because he missed the 8 cost event, this play ended up being better anyway, I think. But I think assuming he has 8 cost event, just replaying the boa and swinging 8 is better. Because the win con in this matchup really is to like put them to 0 and have a boa on board, a 10k boa. And just like femur and maybe pudding for game. Um don't think there's many things else to do differently this game. Again, this worked out in our favor. I think we should have triggered the Ran, but again, it would have made a difference. Because we still just only get the one rested Dawn, and we wouldn't have had. Show it. We wouldn't have had enough Kuja Pirates to give a rested Dawn another one. So we couldn't have made it 22. We possibly could have made it 22, though, is the point, right? Should have played the Ran because we know we're not dead. Because he swung 10k first. And then hopefully we do more to make use of both our femur Dawn in swing 22. And then we would have got there if we got it, but we wouldn't have gotten it anyway. But yeah, so that was this video. Again, just minor things. This game, maybe don't let them rant for free by swinging Sengoku at this, except that they get to keep one more card in hand. I think that might be better. Still 100% sure. Just throwing out thoughts that I'm having and reasoning behind those thoughts. Uh, Attacking sequence again. Don't attack with. It depends on the matchup and the triggers and everything. But in a deck like this, where I can just stop attacking because because he's suddenly a 7k or because he still has this leader effect for free, should put the most important body, i.e. Rin, sideways or Ran, sideways last. I think that was really it for this matchup. I just hit a lot of triggers and did and won. This one saying, again, I'm not sure, but I think just playing Boa on 7, replaying the Boa, it might be better. If he Jozu's it again, it could be bad for us, I guess. But we're at least jamming when we do that and getting more cards out of hand, so maybe it's fine. I don't think there was. Oh, and the lethal math. If they have multiple blockers up and they're not at 0, just don't get greedy with the femur. Basically, Pudding was worth the -1 card in hand there for sure. Obviously, it doesn't guarantee the win, but just optimizing stuff. And then this game, I think this was all fine. Yeah, we already went over this. Because we just went over this. It's trigger the Ran. Probably play Boa again in Swing 8 once he blocks with Marco. Yeah, once he blocks Marco here, I should probably just play Boa again in Swing 8. Um, but again, he didn't even have ACOS, so our play ended up being better, I think, because he ended up Josuing anyway. Um, but yeah, I think that's basically it. If you have any suggestions on this bar, again, I don't mind it, but it is a if the viewers mind it, I can try to figure out how to do it. I'm not good with technology. I don't know if there's a way with this, and I don't know if I'm gonna promise that I could like figure out a different way to watch the replays. But if you have any comments on the deck list or any spot, any plays, any suggestions, any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Appreciate y'all watching and peace.